document. The communications. So in the communications, during the tender period, the engineer might say to the tenderers, okay, that valve that we proposed, replace it with this one. What he's done there is he's changed the conditions of the tender document. The tender document said use XYZ valve. In the tender period, the engineer has now said no, we're using ABC valve. Okay, the tender document, the contractual agreement has changed. Okay, and the other one is the tender submission. The contractor, the construction company, has put in a submission and he said we will do the work for this much money. Okay, that is now part of the contract agreement. The contract agreement isn't that he's just going to build it, it is he's going to build it for this much money. But in addition to that, he might say, oh, we've got Fred Smith is going to be the manager of the site manager. Okay, that's part of the agreement as well. So if he wants to change out and use Joe Bloggs instead of Fred Smith, he has to technically get the client's approval, the principal's approval. Because part of the contract agreement is that Fred Smith will be used by the contractor to manage the site. Okay, so everything he's got in his tender submission is part of the contractual agreement. So together, all those things set out a whole lot of conditions, the rules. This is how the contract works. Offer and acceptance contract form. So offer acceptance. So those elements of the contract, remember that claim without any wins. Okay, remember we need an offer and acceptance. So the offer is the, oops, that's wrong. The offer is what? What's the offer? Sorry, those things need to be matched. You need to draw little lines. So which one of these is the offer? Tender submission. Which one of these is the acceptance? Letter of acceptance. Another one of those elements is both parties intend to enter into a contractual relationship. So you need to demonstrate that you were both intending to enter into a contractual relationship. What would that be? Okay. So the fact that the client, the principal, has issued an invitation to tender and has written an acceptance letter, that is an indication that he is willing to enter into a contract. The fact that the tenderer, the contractor, has submitted a tender submission, that is evidence that he intended to enter into a contract relationship. So the tender submission and the letter of acceptance, the tender document, those all are evidence that both of them are entering into a contract relationship. Remember that case I talked about before? I say, you mentioned in the pub that you'd like your driveway redone, and I turn up and start doing it. Okay, you didn't intend for me to do it. Okay, so one of those rules, one of those elements of contract is that there needs to be an intention, and it's demonstrated by that process. Whoops. Okay, consideration, things of value are exchanged. So what is the consideration? What is the consideration that the contractor provides to the principal? So remember, and the contract is trading things of value. So what is the principal, sorry, what is the contractor providing to the principal that is of value? Sorry? A service? So what physical thing is he providing? Labour? No? Yep, sort of. One thing. So he's building a road. What is the thing that he's providing? A road, yeah. And what is the principal providing to the contractor? Money. A road for money. So they're both getting things of value from the agreement. Certainty, essential elements of the contract are set out. So that is why you need to, that's why you're going to be suffering for the next few weeks while I teach you the different parts of an engineering contract. Okay, that is being put together over time so that there is all of the information required for a contract to be formed. Remember, you can't just say, oh, let's make a contract for you to build me a house. I need to know, how big is the house? What's the foundations? What's the roof? What's the roof made of? Colour carpet? All that sort of stuff. All that information there. I also need to know, what are the rules? When we're in a contractual relationship, who gets the insurance for the building? Who pays for it if the building burns down halfway through? What happens if one of the trucks backing into the site hits a Mercedes-Benz? Who pays for that? What happens if one of us goes bankrupt? What happens if we disagree about something? What happens if we strike rock when we thought there was no rock there at all? What happens with those things? There's all those questions there, all those things that can go wrong. So we need a contract document, and they're quite complex things because there's so much that can go wrong in an engineering contract. Okay, so we're going to look at the tender document in a minute, but we're just going to look at the different types of tenders. Okay, so 3 different ways that you can go out for tender. One is that you can open it up to everyone. So it's like putting you're advertising your party on Facebook. Okay, hey, anyone wants to come along? Great. What's the problem with advertising your party on Facebook? Too many people. Yeah. Okay. And your mates are all going to stay away because there's going to be too many people. Okay. So that's the first one. It is publicly advertised. Anyone can submit a tender. What's going to be the problem with that? Apart from there's going to be lots and lots of people submitting, what's going to happen? Yeah, it's noisy. That's the party. Okay. Let's move away from the party. So, what's going to be the problem if you get lots? If anyone can bid for that contract? Sorry? It's hard to choose. Yeah, you're going to stuck through maybe a dozen tender submissions. Yeah. What else? And we move on. So, time. Yeah, it'll take time to do it. Yes. A lot of competition. Yep. Now, if you were a really, really, really good construction company and clients are lining up for you to hire you, are you going to go into one of these things? Why not? So if you had a choice, so a public open tender, you could get maybe 12 people bidding. How many winners can you be? One. Okay, so what are your chances of winning?
1 divided by
1 in 12, whatever it is. Okay, but what about if there were 3 bidders in there? What are your chances of winning? 1 in 3. Okay, so the less people there are bidding, the more chances you have of winning. Now, if you're a really, really good contractor, what are you going to do? And everyone wants you to bid for their contracts. Which ones are you going to go for? The ones with 3 people, 4 people bidding, or the ones with 12 people bidding? So the problem with an open tender is, because every man and his dog's going in there, the good guys will say, stuff this, I haven't got it. Because the problem with tendering is it costs money. Okay? It used to take, just for a normal tender, it used to take me 2 weeks full-time work, which was the better part of, cost my boss maybe $5,000, $6,000 plus, so $10,000 all up just to bid for $1 million contract. Okay, when they were bidding for the state highway along there, there were 3 consortiums, 3 alliances, and each one of them spent $1 million putting together their bid. Okay, one won, the other 2, what happened to them? Yeah, $1 million didn't work. Damn it, just write that one off the company line. Okay, so the next one is selective tender. So what you do is you select contractors or select construction companies. So it might be that the consultant knows construction companies that are good value and asks them to bid, or the client. Or it might be that you go through a process. You say to everyone, look, we're not interested in prices, just you tell us why we should invite you to tender for our thing. So they'll put in their attributes. They'll say, this is why we should be doing it. We've got experience, we've got track record, we've got the resources, and then you look at them and say, hey, well, they're pretty good, they're pretty good, they're pretty good. We will invite them to submit tenders. Okay? And so you keep it down to 3 or 4. So what's the advantage of that, keeping it down to 3 or 4? What's the advantage of keeping it down to 3 or 4 tenderers? Right? Easier to select. What else? Pardon? They've got a high chance of winning, and you also pick the guys that you know can do the job. You're not going to get any cowboys unless you screw up. Okay? So that's the selective tender. And the last one is a negotiated contract. This is where you ring someone up and say, we need you to do this job, how much? And then you negotiate with them. What's the problem with that? It could be expensive. Why? Yeah, so there's no competition. Okay, so you can say, oh, $1 million. I don't like it. Oh, you're the one that rang me. Okay? So, why on earth would you do that? Why would you negotiate a contract with someone rather than go out for tender? How long would it take you to negotiate something as opposed to tendering? So tendering takes 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. How long would a negotiation take? A week or two at the most. Okay, so the reasons why you'd use a negotiated contract is because you want it done quickly. In other words, your, case in point, a refinery, one of their big tank things that produces the oil went and blew up, and they needed someone in there like yesterday fixing the thing, because every day that they didn't have that reactor working was $1 million lost profit. Okay, so you better believe they thought, yeah, it's going to cost us a lot of money, but we really need that thing done, like now. So they rang up someone that they knew could do it, negotiated with them, paid more than they would have if they'd gone to tender, but they needed that thing online because it was costing them money not to do it. The other one is that they're the only company in New Zealand that can do it. So for the longest time, there was a particular way of installing pipes called pipe jacking. There was one company in New Zealand that could do it. And pipe jacking allowed you to do a whole lot of things that you couldn't do otherwise. Okay, so these guys were just raking it in, because that's all you could do. You could only ring up these fellas and say, well, can we book you in? Yeah, we'll just give you a blank check. You tell us how much and we'll write a number in. It wasn't quite like that, but it turned out that they were the only ones that could do it. Okay, and that's the advantage of being a specialist firm. So we've got those 3 different types of tenders. So those are your strategies, the ways that you're going to progress this thing. So, the open tender, the advantages is it's more competitive. You get new companies. So, if someone's just opened up a new company, he could be a really good engineer and have all the good equipment, good people. But if it was just selective tender and people were just picking who they knew, then how's that guy going to get into the industry? Well, someone's got an innovative new technology, a new way of laying pipes or a new type of machine. How are they going to get into the industry if everyone's just hiring who they hired before? So the advantage of that is it lets new companies in, it lets innovative methods get in. More submissions, more choice. The disadvantage is that you could end up with a cowboy. It's a longer tendering period, there's more processing, there's more time because you've got more tenders. Selective tender, they're all submitting, so everyone, the advantage of selective tender, you know they can do the work. Less chance of getting an unsuitable contractor. You're likely to get the good guys bidding for it, the ones that you know are really good. And in the construction industry, there are people that are really good. I've worked with people that are just, you come out at the end of it, you think those guys are absolutely awesome. And there are other people, you come at the end of the contract period and you think, I'm ready to kill these bastards. Okay, you just, they are so bad. Okay, so there are a lot of really bad contractors out there, a lot of good ones. You'd rather be working with the good ones. So that's the advantage of the selective tender. But it lessens the opportunity for those new and innovative companies to get into the scene. Okay, it means that you might have picked someone that's really good, but there's someone out there that could do it better because they've got a better technology, they're new and innovative. And you haven't given them the chance to put in a price. Negotiated contractor, you've got a reliable contractor, it's quick, but there's no competition, it can be higher price. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do is take a break, 1:15, so come back 1:15, and we're just going to look at the tender document. So you should all have a copy of this. We're just going to flip through. So this is quite important, this next session. This is where